is Sadie Jean with her new single, The One That I Want But I Don't Know Why.
Thinking, oh my God, I'm breaking every rule that I live by for you. So bad it's almost hard. Chalk it up to early 20s torture. So put your lips on mine. It feels good when I close my eyes. And you can be that guy, the one that I want, but I don't know why.
That was Sadie Jean. Listen more on Spotify.
My name is Ryan Pack, and this is Soundtrack Your Life, where we speak with the guests about a soundtrack that is important to them. Today, our guest is film writer James D. Williams. You can find him on Blue Sky at Photo Jimmy and on Medium, where we will link to his writing in our show notes. So, welcome, Jimmy. Welcome, James.
Hey, Ryan. How you
Hey,
doing?
you.
I'm
Should
doing
I
good.
call you James or Jimmy?
It doesn't matter really. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
It doesn't matter.
So, why don't you tell our listeners a little bit about your writing and where they can find that?
Okay. Right now, as far as writing, let me see what I do. I write movie reviews, and I write entertainment articles. So like it's pretty let's say a good blend of pretty much movies and music and television. So yeah, it's just a big little pot, and I just love to write. Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool. I read his most recent article is on Kendrick Lamar. Obviously,
Yeah.
I'm a huge fan if you listen to this podcast. So that was a really fun read. You should check that out. But today, we are going to talk about the 1992 Reginald Hudlin film Boomerang. So why did you pick
Yes.
Boomerang for us today?
As far as soundtracks go, I feel like it is in the top tier. I was born in 91, so I probably first saw this movie maybe in like 95, 96. And I was young, so I really didn't know like too much about what was going on. So I would say probably the next time that I saw it after that was maybe in middle school. And man, like I just loved it. I loved it. I loved it.
Yeah, it's a movie that is, the cast is very stacked, right? We have Eddie
Stacked.
Murphy. We have a very young Hallie Berry.
Yes.
You know, Chris Rock,
Chris Rock,
Robin Givens,
Robin Givens,
Martin Lawrence, David Allen
David
Grier,
Allen
Grace
Grier,
Jones,
John Witherspoon.
John Witherspoon. Oh, John Witherspoon's so good in this movie.
Oh my God.
Comedy legend John Witherspoon.
Uh-huh.
And the soundtrack equally stacked, right?
Who? Babyface.
Right, Babyface.
Toni Braxton. Charlie Murphy. I mean, not Charlie. Ooh, Lord.
Charlie
Wait.
Wilson. Charlie Wilson.
Charlie Wilson. Lord, I'm so sorry.
Oh, no problem.
Charlie Wilson. Woo. Left Eye.
Yep, Left Eye's on here.
Man.
Yeah, Tribe Called Quest.
Tribe Called Quest. Man, it is just one of those top tier sound tracks, and just I love it.
Yeah, it took me back. I remember a lot of these songs. I kind of didn't realize they all came from the soundtrack.
I know, right?
Yeah, it spawned 6 singles, sold 3 million copies, so obviously it was a big hit at the time.
Yeah.
The Toni Braxton track is kind of the one that launched her career, which is really awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And then obviously like Babyface in the 90s was just a hit machine. Anything that he touched.
Pumping them out. Yes, sir. He was pumping them out.
He was. I mean, I feel like I don't know what's the modern equivalent. Jack Antonoff, maybe.
Maybe I would say maybe Jack Antonoff. Uh, yeah, yeah. I would say Jack Antonoff. Maybe Brian Michael Cox. Jeez, I can't think of nobody else as far as R&B really.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
yeah, I
mean,
would say yeah,
and
like Brian Michael
Babyface
Cox. Yeah.
Babyface pretty much wrote almost all the songs on here, except maybe like the PM Dawn song and obviously the Tribe
Yeah.
Called Quest song. You know,
Yes.
he doesn't write he doesn't write their raps for them. So
Yeah. PM Dawn. I remember a funny fact about PM Dawn. I think, if I can remember this correctly, I think the first time that I ever heard a song from them was when I watched Encino Man, and their song is, I think it's in like the first 5 to 7 minutes. It is when they introduce Sean Astin's character, and man, it slapped. So yeah.
yeah, and I guess a fun fact about this song, "I'd Die Without You," is it also is in Jay and Silent Bob reboot.
Oh, I'm gonna have to rewatch that and see what's up.
Yeah, so I was trying to get all the songs for the soundtrack to listen to it, and for some reason, with Apple Music, like the song is grayed out.
It's
But then
graded, and
but it's
yeah,
like here, it's on the Jay and Silent Bob reboot soundtrack, and I was like,
like I
oh,
said,
that's good
okay.
enough for me. Yeah, so that song is on there. Obviously, that was I think written in 1982, so that's not written for the soundtrack, but they use it in the movie.
Yeah.
Marcus Miller, who worked a lot with Miles Davis, he's kind of the composer for the movie. Though I would say that the movie is mostly, based off these songs, especially the Grace
definitely.
Jones song.
Definitely. It's that Grace Jones song is in probably like 4 scenes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like the theme of the movie almost.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Grace Jones is a big part of this movie. She is playing kind of a parody of herself called Strange.
Strange.
And she is equally hilarious and outrageous and terrifying.
Man.
It's funny because we covered the Pee-wee Christmas special on the podcast, and she's in that as well.
Is that the one that was on Netflix, or is it the one from back in the day?
Back in the day.
Okay. Cause I remember he had a Christmas special on Netflix, but yeah, that was that was maybe a few years before I was born. So yeah.
So she's in here, and she is playing a very extreme version of herself. But obviously, anyone who probably watched this movie watched it because of Eddie Murphy.
Eddie Murphy, definitely.
So he's in this movie. He's a star. He kind of came up with the idea, had a couple writers that he worked with. They kind of helped flesh it out. And he wanted to work with Reginald Hudlin because him and his brother, they directed and produced House Party.
Yeah. And I think as far as the writers go, I think it was just only Eddie and Charlie. I think it was just them two. If I'm not mistaken.
It was written by Barry W. Blaustein and David Sheffield, who worked with Eddie on SNL. But Eddie, I think, maybe came up with the idea with Charlie.
Okay, now that yeah. Okay, now that makes more sense. Okay.
Oh, and speaking of SNL, Chris Rock is in this movie. We forgot to mention Chris Rock. That's how stacked it is. I forgot to mention Chris Rock is in this movie.
Yes, Chris Rock is in this movie.
Working in the mailroom. I was thinking of it. If they had made House Party 10 years later, I feel like it'd be more like a Judd Apatow movie.
Yeah,
And I feel like
I
it'd
think
be
so
like,
too.
I think there'd be like a lot more like raunchy stuff.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
But one of the things I love with this movie is the friendship with Martin Lawrence and David Allen Grier and Eddie Murphy.
Eddie Murphy, same here. Same here.
Yeah, just them kind of like bullshitting around.
Mm-hmm.
Even though Martin Lawrence is, obviously kind of annoying because he's like so misogynistic and stuff.
Dog.
It's. I mean, he's just so funny.
Yeah.
And I feel like if they made it later, one of them would, either David Allen Grier or Martin Lawrence would end up being gay, but
Yeah, I
they
think
didn't decide to
yeah.
go there.
Yeah. Not back then, no.
And it's
I
an
like
all black
them.
cast, so I guess I think Eddie Murphy didn't want to go that route
No.
with any of his characters.
No.
So Tisha Campbell is in the movie. She's got a very small role
Got a little
as
cameo, yeah.
as Eddie's kind of obsessed neighbor who he
Yeah.
has a restraining order against, I think.
Yeah.
And I read that, obviously she worked with Hudlin on House Party.
Oh, House Party. Mm-hmm.
And I guess she and Martin Lawrence hit it off, and that's kind of how she became Gina for Martin.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
It kind of spawned, that's a very famous like sitcom relationship, Martin and Tisha Campbell.
Yes.
Damn,
Yes.
Gina, right?
Yes, sir.
So that was really cool to learn. But yeah, I mean, just so stacked.
Mhm.
And I was talking to my wife. I was like, I know who Robin Givens is. I can match the name and the face.
Mm-hmm.
But when I look at her like filmography, I was like, I haven't seen too many of her
No.
shows.
Yeah.
I mean, I saw Head of the Class when I was a little kid, I guess.
Yeah.
But I was like, why am I so familiar with her? And my wife goes, oh, because she was married to Mike Tyson. And I was like, oh, it rang a bell when I, read through her bio. I was like, oh yeah, she married Mike Tyson
Career-wise,
for
I
years.
feel
I
like
don't
she
remember
didn't- she wasn't really able to do a lot because I feel like I've only seen her maybe like the most is maybe like 5, 7 movies, and a few TV shows.
Yeah, she has a lot of one episode spots in like sitcoms, but
Yeah,
I think I've seen like this and like Head of State, the Chris Rock movie.
yeah.
But she's a very memorable person when she's on
Oh
screen.
yeah, definitely.
Only in the Boomerang universe can you see Hallie Berry and be she's just like the girl next door.
The only thing, I'm telling you, like the only thing, even in the last Boy Scout, I think she played a stripper in there. So it's like,
Yeah, it took me like a second to be like, wait, that's Hallie Berry.
Mm-hmm.
But she was so good. Like you could tell, like, oh yeah, she's gonna be a star.
Definitely.
Like I said, it's so stacked where it's, Hallie Berry is like the second prettiest woman in this movie,
Mm-hmm.
or that's what we're supposed to believe.
That is what we are supposed to believe, but nah, she's the first.
Yeah. So let's talk about the soundtrack.
Okay, let's start.
So 12 songs, 6 of them became singles. That's how crazy stacked the soundtrack is. What are some of your favorite songs from the soundtrack?
Ooh, I would say the Johnny Gill song. Definitely, that is definitely one of my favorites.
There you go. And that's
Yes,
a
that
baby
song.
that's a Babyface co-write.
Woo, such a good song. The Charlie Wilson record
Oh yeah, that's a good one. It's gonna be all right.
is gonna be all right. Yep, both of the Toni Braxton songs. I would say I would pretty much say the whole soundtrack. Honestly, I would say the whole soundtrack is pretty much spot on
Yeah, that's fair.
for me. And it was definitely one of the first soundtracks that I had ever heard. So this is definitely in like maybe like my top 10 favorite soundtracks. So I would say my top 10.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you like this era of R&B, I don't see, it's full of like great songs.
I full of them.
I misspoke earlier. The PM
Yeah.
Down song was actually written for the movie,
What? Oh,
so even that song is for.
okay.
So I'm guessing Kevin Smith really liked Boomerang, and that's why he put "I Die Without You" in a Jay and Silent Bob reboot.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I mean, I think those are all great songs. I also like the Shanice song. I feel like she's kind of underrated. People have kind of forgotten about her from the early 90s.
From the early 90s. Yeah.
I think everyone thinks of like Mariah and Whitney and Toni Braxton.
She was
But,
one of the
I thought
ones.
Shanice had some really good songs too.
Yeah, she sure did. She sure did.
And, because I have 2 daughters, so we watch a lot of Disney movies, Shanice has the
Yeah.
end credit song for Pocahontas with John Cicada.
Oh, I'm gonna have to Google that. I did not
So,
know that.
yeah.
That's a great fact, man. I appreciate that.
Oh, you're
Oh
welcome.
man.
I always try to make little connections here and there,
I appreciate that.
I like A Tribe Called Quest is like one of my favorite artists, but
Mm,
Hot Sex is maybe not my favorite Tribe Called Quest song.
no, definitely no. No, it's probably like maybe top 30. Maybe
Yeah.
like
It says in the Tribe Called Quest like singles chronology, like it's between Scenario and Award Tour, and like those are 2 of their best songs.
yeah.
And then you have Hot Sex, which you're like, okay, it's all right.
That's all
Like I
right.
like it because they're still talented rappers,
Uh-huh.
but it's like, not a very interesting beat in my opinion, and usually they have a little bit more to say.
Yeah, definitely.
Like even when they're rapping about sex, like usually they have a little bit more to say.
And then what's that? Yeah.
And obviously the big hit from this soundtrack is Boyz II Men, End of the Road.
Oh, that song. Woof. That song ran through the 90s and the early 2000s. That song just whoosh, ran through it. And even to this day, yes,
It
even
is an
to
all-time
this
classic.
day, to this day.
Yeah, I didn't realize that it was from a soundtrack. I thought it was from Cool High Harmony, but it's not actually on that album.
Mm. I'm mm. I'm surprised that this was a soundtrack. That this was like just like a song on the main soundtrack, and that's it.
Yeah.
Is that the only thing? Wow. I could have sworn that it was on one of their albums from back then.
They
Because
ended up
wouldn't it be?
like doing a new version of the album, like a reissue,
Okay,
and
gotcha.
then they put it on at the end of
They
there.
put it on there. Okay, there you go. Okay.
But it wasn't originally on their album, so at first it was just part of the soundtrack. And obviously it went to number 1 for 13 weeks.
13 weeks. It just seemed like I feel like 13 weeks back then when it comes to like box office or when it comes to the music charts, like 13 weeks back then it feels a lot different than a 13 weeks now.
Right, because now they like take streaming numbers and
Yeah, it's a lot different.
yeah, back in 1992 they counted physical copies of the single being purchased.
Yeah.
And so back in 92 when it hit 13 weeks, I believe it broke like a record by Elvis. And then later that year Whitney Houston made it to 14 weeks with I Will Always Love You
But then,
from The Bodyguard.
Oh my God, yes.
And then Boyz II Men and Mariah Carey broke that with One Sweet Day, which was 16 weeks.
Jesus.
So a good time for
A
soundtrack
good time
ballads.
for soundtracks.
But I feel like Boyz II Men has like they're able to like tour comfortably because of this song.
Definitely.
I mean, obviously they've got lots of jams, but I feel like End of the Road is like their big one.
Yeah, that's the one. I would say everything from those first 3 is just hits on hits on hits on hits on hits on hits on hits.
Yeah. And I believe they obviously working with Babyface was a good business decision for them. So
Yeah.
I think he continued to write with them, right?
Yeah. But I remember hearing a story about why they stopped working together, and I think that they said because it was of their manager or something.
Oh, interesting.
Maybe I'm wrong. I think it was because a manager had scheduled studio time, and they said that they weren't coming or something like that. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, because I know that he co-wrote "I'll Make Love to You," which is another one of their big hits,
Yeah.
and I believe he also did a song for Mama, which is off Soul Food.
Soul Food. Soul Food. Yeah.
So at least they had a few more hits with him.
Mm-hmm.
I'm surprised they didn't just like do a whole album with him with like, the amount of hits they made together. Maybe he wanted too much money.
Hey.
But like you said, there's Lisa Left Eye Lopez. She's on Reversal of a Dog, which is one of many songs that samples Parliament's Atomic Dog.
Parliament is all up and through this movie. Like when Marcus is just sitting there macking, you hear woof.
Yep.
In the background. Yeah, man.
I think I was watching it last night in my room, and my wife went to sleep early, and she kept waking up during the movie because of scenes like that.
Yes.
She'd hear like the dog barking, and it's supposed to kind of startle you a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, sorry, but I need to watch this for work. But yeah, Parliament's throughout this movie. The fashion in this movie is pretty top notch.
Yes, it is. I would say that when I really started to care about fashion, we were definitely in the 3X tall T headband stage.
Oh.
We were definitely in that stage. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely. I feel like that was the time in which I just really started to care about fashion. And that was for me that was like 6th, 7th grade. So yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, 6th, 7th grade.
But the fashion in this movie is very distinct.
Oh yes, yes.
And even like the set design, like the apartments in this movie, they look like they're like unreal. How amazing these apartments look. I did think it was funny that when they reveal the really bad commercial, they're in that boardroom, and then they they're in that conference room, and they open the doors, and there's just that really small TV.
Yeah.
And obviously like it looks like junk now because everyone's got like a widescreen TV.
A widescreen, yeah.
But it looks
Back
like
then,
this dinky
boy.
TV, and you can tell it has like a VCR in it.
VCR in it, yeah.
Oh, but that commercial is like terrifying.
It is very unsettling.
Like it reminded me of a little bit of like Tales from the Crypt.
A little bit.
But like a more twisted version,
Yeah.
You gotta give Grace Jones her flowers for
Oh, definitely.
subjecting herself to that scene.
Most definitely. She is definitely one of the few people that could do that type of scene in something, and it's just like, this is amazing.
Yeah, that might have been her idea.
Yeah.
She could have been like, it's not gross enough.
Mm-hmm.
And she does a lot of outrageous stuff in this movie. I think she first shows up in the movie on like a chariot that's being driven by human
by like
people.
6 dudes.
By like 6
men.
dudes.
Yes. And she got the whip. I'm just like, girl, you wild. Wow, man. She wild in this movie. I love
she's
her.
probably one of the only people that's like, yeah, I can pull all this off.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I saw a YouTube video of her like from her tour like recently, and like she still got it. She's like in her 70s and she's still like this.
Uh-huh.
So good for her.
Good for her.
Yeah, the 7-Day Weekend song is actually one of the few songs that Babyface did not write. It was Dallas Austin.
That's Austin. Oh, okay, Dallas Austin. Yeah.
He's pretty good by himself too.
Yeah, definitely.
He's done a lot of work with TLC.
A lot of work with the Dungeon family.
He's done some stuff with Pink, Gwen Stefani.
Pink. Uh-huh.
But obviously, no slouch. He's a pretty big name by himself.
Yes, sir.
As far as like the writing talent on this soundtrack, like it's all people that like they're all like all-time greats. Babyface. You got Q-Tip from Tribe Called Quest.
Uh-huh.
Dallas Austin. You got Lisa Left Eye Lopez. And then obviously PM Dawn. Five Dog. Rest in peace, Five Dog.
Yes, sir. I have a 5 Dog story, and trust me, it's very small, but it meant a lot.
I would love to hear it.
Okay, so I think it was about 2013, if I'm not mistaken. I had spoke to Fife via Twitter, cause that was back then when everybody was just speaking to everybody on there. Like it was different back then.
Yeah,
because it's like you could really like talk to the celebrities, and I don't care who it was. It could be Five Dog, it could be Carmelo. You could really talk to him back then, but nowadays you can't really do that. Well, and if you do, like 9 times out of 10, it might be for something negative, maybe. But just back then, you could just talk to them like they would just like reply back in a day. It might take a week, it might take a month almost, but they would definitely talk back to us, and that was fire. But
very cool.
yeah. But yeah, like I had talked to him, and I was really trying to schedule an interview with him because that was back when I was doing a lot of video production work when I was living in Atlanta. And yeah, man, like I was trying to just schedule something, and I think we definitely talked in like 2013, maybe 2014. And yeah, like the next year, the next 2 years, like he passes away, and I was hurt. Like I remember, like
my girlfriend back then, now wife, I remember the morning when I found out, dog. I cried in her arms. Like, I'm not even BSing, man. Like, I was hurt because that was when it comes to rap. Like, I don't care what nobody says. Like, you can say, yeah, like Fife was a number two, but listen, Fife didn't rap like no number two. Fife was
Yeah.
the one. Fife was one of them ones. He was one of them ones. Bars on bars on bars on bars. He was funny. He was witty. He was one of them ones, man. And definitely, I miss him.
Yeah, I do too. I remember when he passed away,
Hmm.
I was not in a good place, but I remember, I think it was some weather guy. He was like dropping like 5 lyrics in like
Uh-huh.
while he was like
Uh-huh.
telling the weather, and that made me feel a lot
Hmm.
better. But yeah, I mean, he was like the perfect complement to Q-Tip. It was, it was more like a 1A, 1B sort of situation. I agree with that. I think even in the song, which it's not my favorite Tribe song, he makes that really funny line about, you know, going 2-on-1 like John Ritter, like
Yeah.
my man John Ritter, and I was like, oh, that's actually a really funny line. He's always got a good joke in there.
Yeah.
So what is your favorite Tribe Called Quest album, if I may ask?
Um, I would say Midnight Marauders. It is definitely always between that and the low end of
Low End Theory,
theory.
yeah.
I would say Midnight Marauders is definitely the one that I go back to the most.
Yeah, I agree.
It's definitely the one that I go back to the most.
I have a kind of a sad Tribe Called Quest story.
Oh Lord.
So this was after Fife passed. They were doing like a tour to kind of pay tribute to Fife,
Uh-huh.
and so we were going to go see him at this music festival in San Francisco called
Hmm.
Outside Lands.
Okay.
And basically, like the show before this festival, like Q-Tip decided he couldn't do it anymore, and so they didn't announce it till the festival had already started that Tribe Called
Oh
Quest was not going to perform,
no.
and the rest of the guys were all in San Francisco. Like they were at the festival, and Q-Tip was like, "Nope, not doing it."
Wow. I
So
have a
people were pretty
story
mad.
like that. It's about Tizo touch down.
Oh, Tizo touchdown, yeah.
Yeah. He was supposed to perform at Broccoli City last year, and I was there. Going on like he was like super late, and at the last minute, they had they people come out to tell us that they kind of basically said that like due to the size of the uh stage, Hugh did not want to perform. And I was just like, bro, what you about to be doing? Like the stage was not small. The stage was not like super duper small, but it was just like a normal size concert stage that was set up outside. So I kind of feel like he wanted to be on the main stage. It makes sense
Hmm.
because I've seen some of his live performances. So it makes sense, but I was just like, bro, like we didn't pay all this money out here, dog. I mean, like you got like probably like 500 people out here waiting to see you, and I'm like, you here because everybody saw him there. So it was just like he here, he don't want to perform.
Yeah, that sucks.
Everybody was like, damn, bro, come on, man. So for real, you know,
Hmm.
have you ever noticed that like a lot of times whenever he has like something like small as like he's saying probably about like 5 words on the song, he's always listed as a feature. Have you ever
Yeah.
peeped that? Have you ever like peeped that before?
And it's
Yeah.
just like, bro, like you got 5, like, I mean, like you saying 5 words on here. Why are you listed as a feature?
Maybe he thinks it'll help sell.
Not most of them records. I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. I have a problem with him as of the past maybe few years, especially now. You know, I'm not gonna say that he's not one of the greats. I'm not gonna say that because that would definitely be a lie. But you
Right.
know, it's just like the way that he been moving behind the scenes, especially with Chad and the Netones breakup. I mean, I kind of went down a rabbit hole last year, and I was looking at Chad's tweets, and I saw one from maybe a couple of years ago, and he tweeted, "What does a trademark mean, or like what is a trademark for?" And I kind of put that together with their legal problems, and I
Right.
was just like, "Damn, dog!" I was just like, "Oh god, oh
Yeah, it's sad to see.
yeah, man, definitely." It's sad. Them and I would say them and Hall and Oates. But Hall and Oates, they've been beefing since back then. Like I kind of feel
They've
like
been
they have
beefing before you
always
were born.
dog. Like I'm just like, bro, like those two have had a bad relationship on and off for about like 5 decades, 4 decades.
Yeah.
You know, like damn, dog.
Yeah, it's sad to see. You know, you made so much great art together, and you guys can't get along.
Oh, God.
And like, I could understand if it was like over a girl or something, but
Yeah.
when it's just kind of like
I
business, like you guys are
mean,
both getting paid.
bro, not even a girl. Like,
Well,
nah,
yeah,
y'all can't let no woman or no man get between of what y'all got going on. You can't do
very
that.
true,
I'm
very
sorry.
true.
Can't
Well
do
said.
that. I don't care, man, woman. I don't care. You can't let a man or a woman get in between of you and your business, whatever that business is. No, sorry, Bob. No, ma'am. No.
Yeah, and actually, that is something that happens in the movie, right? They decide
Yeah.
to not let
Uh-huh. Yes, it
that
does.
get
It
between
all
them.
circles back. It all comes back around.
That was a nice moment. You
Yes,
know,
it was.
David Allen Grier very underrated in this movie,
Oh,
or just in
definitely.
general.
Yeah. Oh, man. Uh, I was listening to one of my people's podcasts. They have a horror podcast, and it's called
Hmm.
People Under the Scares.
That's a good name for a
And
podcast.
yeah, and they just did a review on Jumanji, and David Allen Greer, man, like I feel like that was one of them roles in which like he was just like, what they about to have me doing out here? Like I'm on this set with all of this stuff, and I'm just like, hey man, like I'm just like a comedian, like what they about to have me do out here? And man, he was doing a lot in Jumanji. He was doing a lot in that movie, man. He was he had me rolling in that movie, but definitely that's definitely one of his roles in which like, what is he doing in this? But it's like, oh, okay, now I know. All right, bro.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I love that. Recently, he's kind of come back and he's been in more things. I
Mm-hmm.
really enjoyed him on the Carmichael Show,
Same here. Same here.
even though like he's just like the cranky old dad.
Yeah.
Sad that show is off the air. I thought it was very smart.
That could have lasted at least 2 more seasons. But no.
Yeah,
Okay.
big fan of Gerard.
Yeah. Did you watch the Boomerang show?
No, I read about that. I haven't
You
seen
got
it.
you got to check it out. You got to check it out. That I think it only ran for 2 seasons, which was unfortunate because I feel like in the second season they definitely started to really like grow as a lot of shows, and yeah, they canceled it probably about like maybe about like 7 months after their second season finished. And yeah, it was just one of them cancellations. I was just like, come on, y'all. All they needed was just a couple more seasons, just to maybe finish up everything. But no.
Yeah, I mean, and it had good people behind it.
Mhm.
Lena Waithe was an executive producer. Obviously, Hallie Berry was involved as well.
Yeah, Lena Waithe, I appreciate her, and I appreciate most of her contributions, and I'm gonna leave it at that.
You respect her.
Yeah,
You may not be her biggest fan, but you respect.
bingo.
Some other fun facts about this movie. So this movie has 3 different people who have appeared in James Bond movies. So Halle Berry, obviously, is a Bond
Grace
girl.
Jones.
Grace Jones,
Grace
and
Jones.
who's the third one? The guy who plays Nelson. The guy that makes the really like gross commercial.
Yeah, he was in Bonneville.
Yeah, he's from like an old school Bond film.
I'm gonna have to
He's
go
from
back
Live
and
and Let
check.
Die.
I don't think I've seen Live and Let Die.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. I just know the Paul McCartney
I don't think
song.
I've seen that one. Okay, gotcha.
But yeah, 3 Bond connections there.
That's interesting.
We had Martin and Tisha Campbell kind of meet here to kind of set up that Martin and Gina relationship.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of interesting that Reginald Hudlin didn't really do a lot of directing after this.
Yeah, I have always said that I would say that him and his brother, I feel like that they should have done a lot more. But the Hollywood system isn't nice to people that look like me, and to people that look like you. Hollywood, they just be on some mess. And I hate that is still going on.
Yeah, I think there was a funny quote from Hudlin about, I think the reviews for this movie were like mixed to kind of negative.
Yeah.
And he said, a lot of critics thought this was like a science fiction film because they've never seen a successful black company before.
Okay. Nah, bro.
That's a pretty good dig, right?
Okay.
But Hudlin did become a executive producer. So he was the executive producer. He was the executive producer of the Bernie Mac Show, which is one of my favorite sitcoms of all time. He directed a lot of that. He's done some Modern Family and Office episodes as well. He was also the president of BET for a few years.
I remember.
And he's actually done some comic writing as well. He's done some Marvel comic stuff for X-Men and Storm. So pretty like diverse portfolio.
Definitely.
So he didn't just fall off the face of the earth, but he did some pretty cool stuff. The last thing I wanted to bring up, because we like to make jokes about stuff. So he is. So when this movie, Eddie Murphy's character Marcus, one joke that they kind of cut to a lot is when he is trying to find stuff that is wrong with these women that he's hooking up with. He looks at their feet. After he sleeps with them.
Yeah.
And when I was watching that, my brain was like, oh, that seems like a very Quentin Tarantino thing, because people like to make fun of his thing with feet. Well, come full circle, Reginald Hudlin, he's one of the producers of Django Unchained.
Crazy.
And I wonder if Tarantino was like, I gotta work with that other foot guy. Oh yeah, so Hudlin also has executive produced like the Emmy Awards.
He's done a lot.
He produced the 2021 Emmy Awards ceremony. So
he's done a lot.
Good for you, Reginald Hudlin. They might not let you make another movie, but you're still working in the industry and you're still doing cool things. It's a surprise because I think the movie cost $40 million to make and it made over $100 million. You think they'd be like, here's a blank check, make some more things.
Yeah, I say that that was better back then than it is now, because
Yeah, I
now it's
think
just like,
with inflation and stuff.
yeah, yeah. I would say like now it's just like that's really just like a drop in the bucket, kind of sort of. But when it comes to box office numbers now, it's just like, okay, like how long is the movie gonna be in the theaters? Like, is it gonna be in the theaters for just a couple of weeks? Is it gonna be in theaters for like a month, maybe 2 months? And that right there, I hate it.
Well, he also
Because
did The Ladies' Man with Tim Meadows, so maybe that's
okay,
why.
yes, because man, it's just like box office wise, it's just like most movies are in the theaters for maybe like 3 weeks, and then they are on VOD maybe like a week or two after that. It's just like, man,
Yeah, it's weird now. Like,
yeah, it's weird.
we went to see We Live in Time, it was the Andrew Garfield movie back in October, and they had a trailer for Conclave, right? The big,
Mhm.
big movie Conclave. And
Yeah.
like a month later, it's like, oh, Conclave's on Peacock. I was like, what?
Mhm.
I just saw a trailer for it. I'm like, ah, you can watch it on Peacock. I'm like, oh, I guess.
Mhm.
But that's a whole different other discussion.
Yes, it's a whole other bag.
Yeah. But James, thank you for coming on our podcast.
No problem, man. Thank you for having me.
It
I
was so much
appreciate it.
fun. Yeah, so much fun talking
It was
about
a good
Boomerang with you,
time.
talking about music.
Mm-hmm.
So if people want to find you on the internet, to read about you, to talk to you, how do they find you?
Yes, you can find me at Photo Jimmy on pretty much everything from Twitter to Blue Sky, Instagram, Photo Jimmy on everything. You know, I love to talk about it all. I love to talk about music and movies, TV shows. Yeah, pretty much everything. So yeah.
Very cool. So follow him there,
Hmm.
and you can talk to him about what's on your mind pop culture wise. You can
Yes.
find us on Blue Sky at soundtrackyourlife.net and on Instagram and Twitter at soundtrackcast. And once again, thanks again, James, and
No problem. Thank
we'll
you.
catch you next time.
All right.